r/NoSleep. Posted by u/RobertMort. I played hide and seek with my son, and found something terrifying. During quarantine, my 4-year-old and I played a lot of hide and seek. Well, hide and seek with a few extra rules. 1. I'm the only one that hides, he doesn't want to. 2. I have to call out yoo-hoo every few minutes, otherwise he'd never find me. And 3. When he gets close, I pop a hand or foot out of my hiding spot. And he shrieks, "I see your feet, ah ha 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 ha." 4-year-olds are really stupid, okay? And I didn't exactly have the money to buy him a ton of toys. We just moved into this house a few weeks ago. The rent took up nearly my entire paycheck. I got all the furniture from FreeCycle. We ate beans and rice often, and I was still driving around a 20-year-old car. "Hide again?" Benjamin said, tugging my hand. "Hide again. But it's almost bedtime. Please." "Okay. But only one game, okay? Go count in the kitchen." He ran around the corner as fast as he could. 1. 2. I ran through the living room, and then I saw it, the hall closet. Perfect. I opened the door and ducked inside. It was a tight fit, all those scratchy, furry old coats pressing against me, but it was worth it. Because the better the hiding spot, the more time I got to myself. I pulled out my phone and started browsing Reddit. Soon his muffled footsteps sounded, around the dining room. I waited a minute. When he didn't seem to be coming my way, I cracked the door. "Yoo-hoo!" I called out. Footsteps grew louder. I heard his muffled giggles as he walked towards me, and then he started going up the stairs. What an idiot. I cracked the door open a little further, just in time to see his little feet disappear from the landing. Then I shrugged. More time for me. I sat back down in the closet and pulled out the phone. "Mommy," I heard him giggle from upstairs. "Mommy, where are you?" I smiled. I wonder if a mom invented hide and seek. It's quite brilliant. You get a few precious minutes away from your child, and they're not even supposed to make much noise. But you're entertaining them at the same time. Absolutely BR. Yoo-hoo. I stopped. Every muscle in my body froze. But I heard it, clear as day. A soft, clear voice calling from upstairs. But Benjamin and I were home alone. Oh God, someone's in the house and Benjamin. I burst out of the closet. "Benjamin? Where are you?" I heard Benjamin's footsteps running above me. His giggles, trilling down to me. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. "Benjamin!" I finally screamed. More giggles. And then Benjamin's voice. "I see your feet." No. I catapulted up the steps, screaming for him. I burst into his bedroom, but he wasn't there. Just his empty rocket bed, comforter rumpled, embroidered stars staring back at me. I ran back into the hallway, spinning around. "Benjamin?" But I didn't hear any footsteps. Any giggling. The house was dead silent now, and I could hear a pin drop. I ran into the guest bedroom. It was empty. I ran over to the closet. Threw it open, looked up and down. Nothing. Stumbling back out in the hallway, I crossed back towards my bedroom. The only bedroom left. I ran inside and flicked on the light. Empty. The pile of dirty laundry on the chair, untouched. The wardrobe, hanging open, my clothes inside. The pillows piled up on each other in a heap. Heart dropping, I ran around the other side of the bed. Also empty. I crouched to look under the bed. Empty. "Mommy? Mommy?" Relief flooded me as I heard that voice. The door to the bathroom opened a crack, and one blue eye peered out at me, wide with fear. I ran over and grabbed him. Hugged him. And then I hoisted him up and started out of the bathroom. His eyes were still wide with fear. And they weren't focused on my face, but the spot just over my shoulder. I whipped around. It took me a moment to see it. But then I did. I stared at the wardrobe, frozen, my heart pounding in my ears. In the shadows, poking out from underneath the hems of my dresses and coats, were 2 feet. In moments like this, the brain doesn't really think. It's too slow. Instinct trains. The smartest thing would have been to lock ourselves in the bathroom and climb out the window. But instead, I just ran for the hallway. As fast as I could. As I ran down the stairs, I heard the weighted footsteps, slow and methodical, resonating through the house. I could still hear them pounding into my brain as I ran to the neighbor and screamed for help. The police came. They searched the house. They didn't find anything, no signs of forced entry, either. So they promised me they'd patrol my street for the next few days, but that was really all they could do. I decided to stay at a friend's house for a few weeks, until I felt safe again. But every time I closed my eyes, I could see them. Those 2 feet, that looked so off, somehow. Swollen, as if waterlogged. A bit too grayish in tone to belong to any normal person. Toenails blackened and split. And I think back to that wardrobe. How I'd gotten it for free. How the owner told me his mother had just died, and he was just trying to get rid of all her stuff as quickly as possible. And I wondered, how, exactly, did she die? The next story of this video. Posted by /RobertMort. I'm blind in my left eye. But I can still see out of it. Total vision loss. I stared at the ophthalmologist, my mouth hanging open. What? Your retina is completely destroyed. The light flicked away from my dilated pupils, and his blurry face came into view. Your right eye is fine. But the left. He shook his head. I'm sorry. That's impossible. I closed my right eye and looked around with my left, the supposedly blind one. Sure enough, I still saw the ophthalmologist's face, the dim interior of the office, all foggy and blurred. I can see out of my left eye. He paused, and a heavy silence fell over the air. Well, anything you see out of that eye is going to be produced by your mind, he said, picking his words carefully. If you're seeing things, you might want to talk to someone who can help. Someone obviously meant psychiatrist. Cheryl at the front desk can give you a referral. Do you need anything else? He asked, standing up. No. I watched his blurry form leave. Then my girlfriend was beside me, helping me out of the chair. She didn't say a word until we were back in the car. He's a quack. He went to MIT. So? Obviously you can see out of your left eye. And how would your retina have gotten destroyed, anyway? Birth defect? Infection? I don't know, I sighed and stared at the blurry silhouettes of the mountains in the distance, bluish-purple scrolling by. Is there any difference in your left eye? I don't think so. I placed a hand over my left eye, watching the world with my perfectly functioning one. Blurry road ahead, bright sunlight, mountains in the distance. I placed a hand over my right eye, and looked around with the supposedly blind one. The same image. I closed my left eye. Then my right. Then my left. Faster and faster, comparing every inch of the 2 images. Wait. In my left eye, the supposedly blind one, there was a dark spot on the mountain. Just slightly darker. Imperceptible, if I wasn't looking for a difference. Nestled under the highest peak, like a stain. Do you see anything on the mountain? Huh? I pointed to the blurry dark spot. Do you see anything there? Are you talking about the cell tower? I don't think so. We got home and I spent a few hours lying in bed, waiting for the meds to wear off. When they did, I walked into the kitchen to find Casey making dinner. You're cooking? Don't worry, I didn't burn it. She rolled her eyes. It's pasta. Impossible to mess up. And I cut my finger while dicing the garlic for the sauce, so you'd better like it. I bet I will, I lied. When I took a bite, I was pleasantly surprised. It was better than I expected, knowing Casey's cooking. Besides, it was the thought that mattered. Casey was always like that, thoughtful. We'd only started dating 6 months ago, but she always tried so hard to make me happy. We sat down at the dinner table, joking and laughing, and things almost felt back to normal. Almost. I stopped mid-bite. Closed my left eye, then my right. What? Do I have sauce on my face, or something? She rubbed at her mouth. I opened my mouth, but I couldn't speak. All I could do was stare. From my left eye, her face looked slightly different. Her eyes were just a few millimeters closer together. Her cheeks pinched in slightly. Her lips were thinner, her chin longer. Rob? I pushed out the chair. I'll be right back. I stumbled into the bathroom, ran the tap, and splashed cold water on my face. The differences were slight. If I'd seen a photo of her how my blind eye saw her, I probably would just think it's a weird photo. If I looked at it quickly, I probably wouldn't notice a difference at all. I'm freaking out over nothing. There was obviously an explanation. Maybe I was slightly nearsighted or farsighted in my left eye, and that caused her face to be slightly distorted. Like a camera lens. I'd seen photos showing how the distance from the lens can distort a face. It must be something like that. Rob? Her voice came through the door. Are you okay? I'm fine, I managed to shout back. Yes. Fine. Ruining a nice evening for no reason at all. I wiped my face with the towel. Took in a deep breath to calm myself. Let it out slowly through my nose, counting to 10. My hand curled around the doorknob. "Sorry, Awa." I froze. There was something dark on her hand. Semi-transparent, like when you hold your finger too close to your face. Like when you see something only out of one eye. I closed my right eye and stared. It was the cut, from when she'd chopped the garlic. Sliced across the last joint of her index finger, a bit of blood crusted around the injury. But it wasn't red. It was black,